Finnish police have detained 2 crew members of the cargo ship Fitberg, suspected of damaging an undersea transmission cable between Helsinki and Tallinn. 2 other sailors have been banned from leaving the country. The entire 14-member crew of the vessel has also been questioned. Finnish authorities have no doubt that this is yet another act of Russian sabotage in the Baltic Sea. Recently, there has been a series of similar incidents involving the Shadow Fleet, the fleet that Russia uses to smuggle oil. The Eagle S damaged telecommunication cables and a power cable connecting Estonia and Finland. This is a series of incidents that began in 2023 and were initiated by a Chinese vessel. It is worth remembering this. The vessel used a technique that was later used repeatedly, both by Chinese and Russian vessels, namely an anchor that damaged underwater infrastructure. These actions are aimed at damaging the extensive underwater infrastructure, information concerning, among other things, the military, energy, and financial security of NATO countries is transmitted along the bottom of the Baltic Sea.
Our relations with Russia have changed permanently. What remains unchanged is that Russia is our neighbor.
The Finnish president referred to the threat posed by Russia in his New Year's address.
We cannot be certain that Russia is ready for peace. Peace is often a compromise.
In recent years, sabotage and diversion campaigns carried out by Russian services on NATO's eastern flank have become increasingly frequent. As for Russian provocations, they have already reached their peak. Attacks on communication infrastructure, arson, but also disinformation in the broad sense. These included Russian aircraft violating Lithuanian airspace, Russian aircraft dangerously approaching Polish airspace, and a series of damages to critical infrastructure on the bottom of the Baltic Sea, that is, telecommunications cables, by ships of the so-called Shadow Fleet, and drones over airports not only on the eastern flank, but also throughout Europe. In Poland, too, we are increasingly feeling the effects of Russia's hybrid warfare. Russia wants to create chaos in Europe to make Europeans more confused, and in a sense, it is partially succeeding, because the most threatened countries are those on NATO's eastern flank. Let us recall that in September, more than 20 drones flew into Poland. In November, railway tracks were blown up, and on Christmas Eve, as many as 60 balloons flew into our airspace, seemingly for smuggling. Some of them had navigation systems attached. Earlier, there were mysterious arson attacks in our country. One such case is the arson attack on the warehouse at 44 Madowiecka Street in Warsaw, for which the Russian Military Intelligence Service, GRU, is responsible. Another case is the blowing up of the railway track in Mika, connecting Warsaw with Lublin. Here, in addition to blowing up our railway infrastructure, the Russians also achieved the effect that up to 10,000 of our troops, instead of training at military training grounds and familiarizing themselves with the latest equipment, are involved in protecting our critical infrastructure, including the railway. Through such incidents, Russia is trying to influence the situation in eastern flank countries, such as Poland, Romania, Lithuania, Latvia, Estonia, and the Baltic states. Their goal is to test state security systems and services and to destabilize and frighten the public. The Polish government has not yet developed any strategy to respond to the diversion coming from the east. Russia is trying to expand various forms of activity. It is finding new niches that allow for this type of aggression against Poland, and it is doing so with absolute impunity, because there is still a lack of effective communication between the public and the government in Poland when it comes to communication in critical situations. The Polish National Security Bureau has published maps showing the locations where drones and balloons have fallen, including 16 incidents involving Russian or Belarusian drones in Poland from September to the end of 2025. Events in the last months of 2025 indicate that Russia and Belarus have intensified their provocations in the air domain, making them a permanent part of their catalog of actions against Poland and other NATO countries. In 2026, provocations in the air domain are expected to be repeated. Russia wants to sow chaos and test our ability to repel an attack.